From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, from Smash Mouth, Paul Lisle and Zach Goode. And the host of the Rubin Report, Dave Rubin. Plus the news and trending topics with me, Mike Dawson. And now, a man who could teach Smash Mouth what the sharpest tool in the shed actually is. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the church. We're going to manage to get it on. Dawson's going to be hanging with us, doing some news. We'll do that early.
Yeah.
Got the Smash Mouth guys. We got Dave Rubin. I had dinner with them and Drew and many others, Larry Elder, Dennis Prager, and some other really interesting people.
Wow, that's a big table.
That's even more. We're there. So I'll get into that. I got notes here. Stuff I want to get into, and then we'll get into some news. But Dawson, you'd be a good guy to talk to about this, which is I was talking to Drew earlier today, and I was kind of thinking about lore and folklore, and then I was thinking about the Time Life book series.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I'd sit home and, I mean, you can find at least the shot a man for snoring part. But anyway, you'd sit around and you'd watch these commercials, and they go, John Wesley Harding, a man so mean he once shot a man for snoring, you know, and the
gunslingers.
Yeah. And so, like, I would think about it, like, did he really shoot a guy in his gang, you know what I mean, for snoring, or was he at a whorehouse, or wouldn't it kill morale, like if you're a gang member with John Wesley Harding, shot somebody?
Sure.
Or I wouldn't go to bed with like a stuffy nose or cold. And those guys like to drink whiskey out on the prairie and stuff.
Right, and those whiskey snores are the worst.
They're the worst.
You gotta take care of yourself.
I would take my bedroll and walk like 40 feet away. And they'll go, there's rattlesnakes out there. And I go, I'll take my chances. So as I was talking to Drew and I was thinking about, you know, that bank robber lady, well, that's no lady. That's Johnny Blossom. He dressed as a woman and he robbed banks, you know. And so, okay, so he shot a man just for snoring. All right, well, we'll play the clip, and I'll get to what I'm talking about in a second.
Time Life books got on the trail of the Old West. Good thing, too. They rescued photographs you didn't know existed. Put it all down while you could still get the straight story about people. Like these two sons of a Baptist minister. They staged the first daylight bank robbery in U.S. history. Frank and Jesse James. Here's Clay Allison. Called himself a shootist. Hair trigger Pat Masterson, who wound up a New York sports writer. And what kind of lady was wanted for horse stealing and bootlegging? That was no lady. That was Belle Starr. John Wesley Harding. Before the Texas Rangers caught up with him, he shot 44 men. One of them just for snoring too loud. And that's in your first book alone, The Gunfighters.
Right. So,
has some
all right, you got it. All right. Now, so I'm saying to Drew, did he shoot a guy for snoring? We don't know.
We don't know.
We'll never know.
Right.
It's called lore.
Yes.
And much of the lore, many of the sayings that are attributed to Winston Churchill, he never said.
Sure.
And that's how history's written.
I'll give it 50-50 that he actually shot a man for snoring.
Yeah. He said snoring, and then he paused and went too loud, which that's implied. Yeah. Barely snoring does not earn you a bullet. But okay, he's snoring too loud. I would see if I was working that script, I'd go, you know, we do a little nip and tuck here. Just go shot a man for snoring. Too loud. Okay, got it.
They're not going for comedy. They want to sensationalize this.
All right, but here's my point. This is lore. We don't know and we'll never know. But we did assume that at some point in the future, now, when there's Ring doorbell cameras and high-def cameras and sensitive microphones and 5G networks and things like that, that we would capture everybody on high-def, and the day of lore would be gone.
It'd be the end of lore.
It'd be the end of lore. Lore, no more.
Lore, no more.
Good band. Good indie band.
Yeah.
Okay, there'll be no more lore because we have video. Now, we didn't have high-def video of John Wesley Harding shooting a guy for snoring or not, but now we have it, right?
Well,
so,
go ahead.
Here's the part I'm finding very fascinating about the times we're living in, which is the lore of our time. And Joe Biden starts his debate by explaining that Donald Trump said to inject bleach into your arm. He told every American to do that, which he didn't do. And there's videotape of the whole speech,
correct,
which isn't a speech, but sort of off-the-cuff discussion about it, and he didn't say that. But the lore in 2024 isn't no more.
Exactly.
It's still here, and we're hitting it harder.
Exactly.
Because we have videotape of it not happening. He didn't say good people on both sides. He said good people on both sides. He was talking about people who wanted to tear the statues down and those who didn't want to tear the statues down. And then he said, and he's no way condoning the Nazis or the neo-Nazis. Like, it's all on videotape. There are photographs of Border Patrol agents not beating Haitians. That guy said, the guy took the picture, said they didn't hit him with the reins. This didn't happen. It looks like something, but it didn't happen. And it's gone. But yet in people's heads, those Border Patrol guys beat Haitians who are crossing the border. And the list goes on and on. I would now call them cheap fakes and whatnot. But everything from good people on both sides or inject bleach or half the shit that people said about COVID that they said they didn't say, but they said it anyway. It's all on camera, but yet we're going down the lore road. The entire shooting of Michael Brown, like hands up, don't shoot. There's some crackpot female black senator out of whatever that just celebrated his 10th anniversary because he was shot in the back, except for that never happened.
Right.
He was shot in the front wrestling with a cop trying to get his gun away, and the DOJ sent all their agents down there and they couldn't prove a point because his DNA was on the gun. But yet your lore is taking the place of videotape at this point. So I don't know what chance we're going to have in the future. So we have footage of good people on both sides being dispelled. We have footage of him saying, march to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically. We have footage of all that, but the lore is going to say he told an angry mob to weapon up and head down there for an insurrection.
Right.
Even though the videotape is not that.
Yeah.
The videotape on all this stuff is not that. But yet the lore, which Drew pointed out, when there is videotape, you got to triple down in the lore department.
Sure.
The John Wesley Harding shooting a man snoring, everyone believed that the first time.
You're good.
Right.
Yeah.
So that hit it real hard. Well, and I have a solution, possibly.
Okay.
Because this lore thing is going to fuck us up.
Restore the lore. They've
restored the lore.
Propagating
right.
so much more lore.
Right.
Than the only lore we had in the 1850s, and I guess when the Time Life thing came out, was that John Wesley Harding shot a man for snoring. That was our lore.
Yes.
And George Washington and the apple tree.
Right. I cannot tell a lie.
Right.
Right. So no idea whether that happened, but we don't have high-def footage of him saying, I never said that shit.
Sure.
Or high-definition footage of him chopping down, a cherry tree. Mm-hmm. I think it was. All right. So, I'm interested that, and by the way, this is Chick Think. This is next level Chick Think, where you can actually have videotape of people saying something different, and you can just twist it into whatever the fuck you want to say.
It's the ultimate, but still.
Most every Democrat I know thinks Trump said inject bleach into your arm and the good people on both sides, and he was talking about Nazis.
Right.
Okay. Something that never happened, and there's videotape, and they'll ignore it. And there's a million other instances.
Which has done some serious damage. But
it's done damage. Okay. Here's what I think we need to do, because this is going to happen a lot moving forward. And then we just got into it with the cheap fakes. What was Biden doing? That's edited. He was just enjoying a Juneteenth concert. There's nothing to see here.
Sure.
A lot of stuff.
He was rocking out, dude. He was digging it.
There's a lot of, he loves Patti LaBelle. All right. This is going to keep happening. It's never going to stop happening. What we need is NBA refs and or NFL refs, and they got to go under the hood in real time. So in football, the guy's foot was in bounds, the guy's foot was out of bounds. We settle it right there. Right on the field. We don't go, well, let's see what Joy Behar has to say about it Monday. We just go, a dude goes, they stop the game. The guy walks to the sideline. He puts the hood over his head, and he just looks at 3 different versions of inject bleach or 3 different versions of peacefully march, good or bad, Biden, at Juneteenth or whatever, goes under the hood, makes a declaration, moving on. We're not going to keep arguing about this. We got pictures of Haitians being whipped or not being whipped by Border Patrol. We got Trump saying inject bleach or don't inject bleach or something else. Could we use disinfectant in the lungs or some version of that? We have peacefully march. We have good people on both sides. We have all sorts of this. NFL ref under the hood right now, make a declaration. And just like the teams, I don't care if there's 15 seconds left in the Super Bowl, and this is the difference between winning and losing. That guy made the call. That's the call. We're done.
Okay.
No more lore. No more arguing about it. No more. He did say that, or he didn't. It's that if you're a politician, you can't use it on the campaign trail anymore. You can't use your lore in the debates. You can't. Either way. Hunter Biden laptop, real or fake, go under the hood. Whatever it is, it'll work both directions, and then that'll be that.
Now,
You're not allowed to pontificate on it. Can't turn on Morning Joe and get his version of the lore anymore. It's done, under the hood, made the decision.
And after the decision is made, we should have a ceremonial gavel. He slams it down and says, lore no more.
Lore no more, and that is it. And then people could go, well, who's going under the hood?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Who do you recommend for this position?
I go, well, myself.
Okay.
Who's going
I'll second that.
Who's going under the hood in an NFL game? I don't know. Is the guy from Baltimore? Does he like any of the players on the team? We trust him at a certain point to go under the hood. NBA games, they run to the sideline. They look at the monitor. They go, I think his hand touched it. Either way, they decide, and one team's taking the ball out or not. No more lore. Done. Because this is going to get worse. It's going to keep going. And it also proliferates. And 100 years from now, they'll be saying shit that didn't happen that we have videotape of, and they'll believe it.
Now, should this be a man or a woman?
It's got to be a dude.
It's got to be a dude, right?
Yeah.
And we can point to the NFL.
I'll let, if Megyn Kelly and Margaret Thatcher have a child, I'll let her, and it turns to be a girl.
They might.
I'll let her do it.
Now, have you noticed, a quick
you got to
tangent
get certified
on under the hood. On NFL games, I have never seen one of the new female referees be the one to go under the hood.
One did go.
Really?
Yeah, but one of the black linesmen raped her, and they made a new.
I didn't just laugh at that.
You didn't hear that? Yeah, so there's a new policy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
she can't go under the hood without an escort.
No more.
No.
Yeah.
And look, he happened to be black. I'm not saying it's because.
It always ends in rape.
I'm not saying it's because. Anyone who wants to write letters, saying he happened to be, which is progress. All right, so under the hood, can we sign off on
Problem
this?
solved.
And
Lore no more.
And then when shit happens, we won't have to argue about it as a nation for years after it because it will have been adjudicated.
Yeah. Think of all the time we could save to stop trying to convince people
the
that
bitches
things
from
they
The
think
View
happened
would have
didn't.
nothing to say, though.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have a monologue.
Yeah.
They'd have nothing to talk about because their entire life is lore.
And they're going to lose all their money because they can't do the show anymore. Maybe we put in a little fund for these people who are going to lose all of their work for perpetuating lore. Maybe a rehab program.
All right.
I think
Enough
it's a great
about
idea.
me. I'm standing by my ideas. Let's talk about your ideas in the news.
Let's talk about your buddy Alec Baldwin won a huge victory in court.
Yeah.
The judge ruled that prosecutors cannot introduce evidence of Baldwin's role as a producer in the film Rust.
Well, that was the real exposure. And I said it the whole time. I was like, look, as an actor, come on, someone hands him a gun, tells him it's cold. That's not his fault. But as a producer, if we find a bunch of emails saying we got to save money on the gun handler, for lack of a better term, then that might land in his lap.
That would make sense. But essentially, I mean, if without that, he's just an actor with a gun that he had zero assumption to think that he wouldn't even think that this is loaded.
Right.
He's not a gun handler, a main gun handler would say, if you got a gun in your hand, you better make sure it's not loaded. Yeah, I get that. This is an actor on a movie set. Common sense says this case is over. Baldwin's a free man.
Me and Mike went shooting in Utah. Who else went on that? Anyway, we went shooting in Utah, right? We got the whole safety speech, with the rifle, and you always have facing down, and it's always facing down, and you never, whatever. Then the guy handed the rifle to Mike. Within 13 seconds, he was swinging it around, talking to people, you know what I mean? Like, you go, you never, whatever. Yeah, I know, but people, they're not Arlie Ermy. They do it, Okay. His big thing is he sat down with Stephanopoulos and he said he didn't squeeze the trigger. And then the FBI forensic guy says this gun will not fire without squeezing the trigger. Yeah. And he should have never said, I never squeezed the trigger, because now we're arguing about him squeezing the trigger. He should have said, look, if I was making a movie about Wile E. Coyote and somebody handed me sticks of TNT with an alarm clock on it and I was told to put it underneath a school bus and it blew up, that wouldn't be on me. That's on the prop master.
Right.
And they'd go, you never take TNT and put it on it.
Right.
I was handed to a prop master handed me this thing and says it was fake. What do you want me to do?
I think that's a good argument for Baldwin's
the Wile E. Coyote one?
The Wile E. Coyote argument.
I'll tell him that.
The other thing is that I think they already got their pound of flesh out of this one. Hannah Gutierrez Reed was the armorer. She's been found guilty of manslaughter. I believe they sentenced her to 18 months. She'll probably do a little less than a year.
All right.
I think they got it. I think Baldwin's a free man.
Yep, I do too.
Rob Reiner continues to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's now calling for President Biden to withdraw from the race. He put a tweet out, or an X out. It's time to stop. I'm going to just read this. It's time to stop fucking around, he says.
Find Reiner on Maher.
Oh, we got it.
With that clip, because it makes me laugh every time. But, yeah, go ahead.
We're going to set it up with Bill Maher at the top, but I'll read the tweet really quick.
I like Rob Reiner, by the way, but he has Trump derangement syndrome, and Trump derangement syndrome makes you stupid because it makes you do shit you wouldn't normally do and say things you wouldn't normally say. So
I like Marty DeBurgi, Rob Reiner.
Yeah, me too. USS Muff Diver.
He says, it's time to stop fucking around. If the convicted felon wins, we lose our democracy. How do we lose our democracy if people vote for a president? Anyway, Joe Biden has effectively served U.S. with honor, or us with honor, decency, and dignity. It's time for Biden to step down. Let's listen to that. Let's watch that Bill Maher clip. It's pretty awesome.
It's from 2 years ago, but you can watch the process. The thing that I always like about this clip is you get the Rob Reiner process, and you can hear it's a shape-shifting process. But just listen to how he makes his arguments. By the way, I should set it up that Bill Maher was just saying, look, the press lied about Hunter Biden's laptop, so what are we going to do about that? Is that okay? Because it would be okay in Nazi Germany or, with the French resistance. So it's basically this. If you're in France in 1943 and you're in the resistance and you have forged papers, is that an immoral thing to do? And the answer is no, because you're fighting the Nazis.
Sure.
So we can all sign off on LeBeau from Hogan's Heroes doing the right thing, although lying, right? You're lying. You have a fake passport and fake papers, and you're using it not to be caught by the Nazis. Okay, and be part of the French resistance. So noble, lying, noble. Okay, so now you're the New York Times or USA Today or Twitter before Elon bought it, or one of the 51 experts from the FBI that signed the document saying that the Hunter Biden laptop had all the earmarks of Russian collusion. But if you're dealing with Hitler, it is noble to sign that and to lie.
Right.
If you're dealing with Hitler, and then the question is who decides who Hitler is? because you guys conveniently decide everyone who you run against is Hitler. And so now you have an opportunity to lie. So I'm with Bill on this one in that, look, lying is lying, and it's a two-way street. It's going to bite you in the ass. Can't do it. But all right, we'll play the clip to Rob Reiner and Amy Klobuchar.
So Sam Harris says it was appropriate for Twitter and the heads of big tech and the heads of journalistic organizations to feel that they were in the presence of something that is a once-in-a-lifetime moral emergency, meaning Trump. So he's saying it's okay to have a conspiracy to get rid of somebody as bad as Trump. It's a little bit of a thorny question because once you go down this road, this is sort of where we are in this country. The other side is so evil, anything is justified in preventing them from taking office. Is it?
No. You know what's not justified? Using armed violence to try to kill people in the Capitol.
Somebody jumped on that applause.
Answer this question.
All right, hold on.
Was it?
All right, he's not answering the question.
No.
Armed violence. One bullet fired during the insurrection.
Lore no more.
One bullet.
I mean, come on. This is the biggest lore no more.
Shot fired.
Yeah.
Capitol policeman, black guy into white chick.
Yeah.
Face.
One death.
Okay, one death. One death. One weapon. One weapon discharge. This guy's tied with Alec Baldwin in terms of killing chicks. He's tied. I'd like to get him to a cocktail party and say, you two guys. You don't think you have something to talk about? Oh, yeah, you do. Oh, you got a lot to talk about.
Do you think they're going to have a rubber match? I think they're going to both retire.
It's your move, sir. Yeah. We both got one notch in our chick-killing belt. Both sitting around, not doing too much. Then we entered their lives.
Your turn, Clyde.
Yes. All right. Remind me to get those two at the Christmas party now. I'll introduce them. And I'll go, you guys, yeah, you do. And I'll go,
Hey.
Baldwin, you guys got a lot in common. I go, what do you work in the industry? You key grip? What do you act? Well, no. Security. Oh, what's that got to do with me? Just hear me. Just let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. I'll bet you those two women were the same age, even.
Yeah, close.
I'm going to give the nod to whoever killed the younger one as the winner.
Ooh.
I mean, not winner. Listen,
Right.
You know what I'm saying.
Well, I think
great respect
I think
here,
Baldwin would probably. I think there's a chance they were close to the same age. But if I had to put some money on it, I would say that Ashley Babbitt was older
than
Helena
Hutchinson. Yeah. Hutchins. Can it be more than a couple of?
Can we find out?
We'll find out. It's doable. But all right. Anyway, Rob, it was not an armed insurrection. I mean, you can count, spatulas and army helmets and flagpoles and stuff. But all right. But we'll keep playing it.
In the Capitol. That's not justified.
Answer this question. Answer this question.
What is
was
the
it
question?
Appropriate? The question is,
Was
it
the press-
appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden?
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
All right, pause it for a second. First off, the filibustering. The talking, by the way, when people are talking over you, they're usually losing.
You didn't ask a question. What's the question? I'll answer the question.
And the weird part, we're like, you know that? I don't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't know that, but it's... Well, first off, this is 2 years.
Evidence.
This is 2 years old. Who turned out to be right, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But you don't know that.
But here's the thing.
I don't know that.
Here's the thing. I mean, Rob Reiner, at least at this point, on the laptop, as far as the laptop goes, the most damaging things about the laptop when it first came out was that there were pictures of Hunter Biden doing blow off a hooker's asshole. Mm-hmm. I'm embellishing. And then 51 people say, nope, it's Russian disinformation. Okay, well, it's a good thing there's not pictures of Hunter Biden doing cocaine off of a Russian's asshole then. No, it was still there.
Yes. But look, here's the deal. The FBI had possession of the laptop and a couple people who are active people who signed that letter were working for the FBI. So they knew it, so it was a cover-up. So they lied. Okay, they lied. Sorry, Rob, your side lied. Now, so did the guy in the French Resistance. So did Lebeau. So start making that argument that it's okay to lie. Yes, they lied, but he doesn't know if they lied because he doesn't know. But you got to listen to Ashley Babbitt, 36. Sorry, Dawson.
Oh.
Helena Hutchins, 42.
Damn, see, I should never bet. I always lose when I bet.
Yep. He's the winner.
All right.
That guard. By the way, Rob Reiner's not that interested in the guy who shot the person in the face in terms of bringing them to justice. But okay.
Yeah.
I noticed the committee, the January 6th committee, doesn't want that guy brought to justice. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we'll keep playing it.
For a fact that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Well, then you would know about this.
I do know about that.
Well, you're acting like you
All right, hold on. He doesn't know. He does watch Fox. He doesn't know about this thing, but he does know about this thing, which he's explaining now.
Could you imagine watching Fox News with Rob Reiner? That seems like a bucket list thing to do.
It.
He hate watches Fox News. I'm sure he does, and he screams at the television.
I would do this
this is what he does in every movie. And I watched The Wolf of Wall Street like 9 times in the past week.
I would watch. I would watch this. This could be the so next comedians in cars getting coffee.
Comedians watching Fox News with Rob Reiner.
Yes. All right. Sorry. Keep
so
playing
much fun.
it.
About this.
I do know about that.
Well, you're acting like you know.
I do know about that, and I do watch Fox. But the point is, we're going to prove now that the press tried to.
They're admitting it.
The press is admitting it.
Yes, that's not even an issue anymore. They're saying, yes, we basically did this because we didn't want this to throw the election. Yes?
I don't know that they've all said this, and I believe
well, the New York Times definitely.
All right, hold on. Another spurious things. I don't know if they've all said it. No all says anything.
No.
There's a significant percentage of Americans think the Earth is flat. But that doesn't mean it's flat. I don't know if they all. Not every American thinks he's living on an orb. Come on now. I don't know if they all said it. By the way, that's her just being politician bullshit liar.
Exactly.
Rob is just confused liar because he's not used to being challenged, and he's not used to running in any circles who would challenge him.
I would question calling him a liar in his heart. I think he believes everything he's saying.
He doesn't know anything. When he says he watches Fox News, he's lying. Okay, and when he says, I know the story,
he yells at the TV while Fox News is on.
He doesn't
something
know.
I would believe.
He doesn't watch 10 minutes of anything. She's now lying, basically, but she's doing politician lying. Like, I don't know all, which is the version of, you know it, I don't know it, how do you know it's true? I don't know it. Like, now we're getting into weird semantics. This thing happened, it's been reported on, it exists. You don't know it, that's fine. You don't know how deep the Marianas Trench is either. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, it means you don't know it. She wants to know if all, like underlined all, which just means nothing, and then we can hear her explain about her great family.
And I believe strongly.
Well, the New York
in the
Times
First
definitely
Amendment.
did.
My dad was a reporter. I believe.
Dad's a reporter,
and I think you have to make sure that you're treating people fairly. But I think Rob's point here is that we are dealing with a man who used to be the president right now, who literally tried to lead an armed insurrection.
Literally.
And that's why we're so focused
literally
on this
led
right
an
now.
insurrection.
She couched that,
as you've noticed,
by saying, I think Rob's point here is, so she was able to sum it up and deliver it as Rob's thoughts, but that's exactly what she thinks as well.
Well, she said, look, the press lied. She knows. The press was lying, but that's a good thing.
She knows
that guy's
it's a lie.
leading an insurrection, although he didn't lead an insurrection.
Right.
But all right. So she's working my French resistance angle, which is, here's the point. First off, my dad was a journalist. All right, my dad was a dentist. What of it, bitch? My dad was a journalist. Good. Then your dad would be very disappointed in you defending journalists who lie. Don't you think your dad's rolling over in the grave?
Right.
I think your dad had some dignity. He wouldn't lie. But all right, your dad's a journalist.
Journalist and teacher now are on equal level as far as my
you're right.
parents
they're,
were.
They're down at the fucking basement.
Yeah.
All right, so her dad's a journalist, and not all journalists said that. And here's the real point. This guy led a violent insurrection, so we need to lie. I think that's what it is. And that's why we got to get rid of the lore, and we'll go under the hood. And we'll go under the hood for the insurrection as well. Like,
I love it.
You're calling it an armed insurrection? We got to see some weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, you said that guy was bludgeoned to death with a fire extinguisher? Mm-hmm. No. Then he said he was killed because he ingested bear spray? No. He did have a stroke in his office later, but they're not going to count that as a violent death from the insurrection. We'll go under the hood. We'll get it all worked out. Oh, and also, so how many people died? Well, this other guy killed himself six months later.
Yeah.
6 months later.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going under the hood.
Okay.
I've come back.
Right.
I didn't even turn the monitor on for this one, dumb shit.
Yep.
That doesn't count.
Yep.
Okay. Here
Lore
we
no
go.
more.
Lore no more. What else you got?
New York City just stepped into the 20th century. I guess in New York, people used to just throw their trash out in bags. Joe, can you verify this?
Oh, yeah.
This happens.
You never walked through piles
I've
of trash?
walked through piles of trash before. Yes, I've seen them, but it never really registered to this point that that's how New Yorkers have gotten rid of their trash.
Well, like restaurants and stuff. I think. I don't know if it's in
This is correct.
suburbs.
Because, in New York City, unlike Los Angeles and most major cities, New York has no alleys. Our real estate is too valuable for alleys. So all the trash gets put on the corner in garbage bags, and garbage trucks come and pick them up. That's it.
Wow. Well, Mayor Adams and City Sanitation Commissioner Jessica Tisch announced that landlords who own buildings with 9 units or left will have to ensure their trash is set out in rigid bins. The plastic bins. Now, here's
the same
here's
ones
the problem.
we have.
Yeah,
with the wheels.
the same ones we've been using for since 1990 at least.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're just figuring this out. They say the new receptacles are going to cost less than $50 a piece. It's unclear if they're making people buy them or not. It's not going to help, dude. You're not going to get New Yorkers to shell out money to buy a trash can.
Oh, yes, they will.
You think? Tell me why.
Because they won't pick up your trash if it's not in a trash can,
there
and that's
you go.
how they get you to do everything. You can drag all the love seats to the curb you want, Dawson, of your house. They ain't picking it up.
That is the only way. I agree.
You can bundle up wood and twigs and shit you did from cutting your tree up and throw it out there. They're going to walk right past it. They even walk past it. They won't get off the truck. The bin has the robotic arm. They don't get off the truck anymore. They don't hang off the back of the truck.
Okay, but what happens when this trash just starts piling up because they're not going to pick it up? Are they going to dedicate somebody to go through and start opening the trash and find out where it's coming from?
Yeah, it's in front
for
of
individual residences.
Yeah, whoever so the city is not going to pick up your shit unless it's in the right receptacle. That's
Right.
number one. That's what they do here. That's what they've done here. There's no trash bag out front of your house in Los Angeles. They don't touch it.
Right.
Then they're going to figure out in the unit, the 6-unit building you're in, who's not using the trash can
Okay.
and
And then
who
they can
is. And then the
HOA
guy
fine
who
you.
owns the building is going to come down on those people or whatever it is.
Okay.
It may be a little bit enforced, like when someone in the neighborhood's letting their dog shit everywhere and not bagging it. Eventually people figure out with the Ring doorbell who's doing it.
Right.
So there'll be that.
All right, well, let's watch this video from 40 years ago of Eric Adams displaying one of these brand new receptacles. With audio. Give me audio.
We always have the sound back from P. Diddy, and now he thinks his shit doesn't stink.
Yeah, he just says,
He's all
"Welcome."
riding high.
He just pretty much put New York City in a nutshell with this one quote from the Trash Can Press conference. Go.
To our trash revolution. And
Welcome to our trash revolution. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Adams.
Yeah. They seem a little behind the times. Last time I was
way behind the times. And if they really want this to work and they cost less than $50 a piece, imagine everything they're spending tax money on. It can't cost that much money to make sure that one of these trash receptacles is everywhere in New York. It would do so much more to cure their rat problem than just leaving it up to people to do it. Because people need convincing, and convincing means penalties.
Well, the penalty is you don't get your garbage picked up, and that'll fuck your shit up.
Right, but you're not the only one suffering from that. Everyone else is suffering as well because there's trash on the streets. People will just get pissed and be like, look, the dudes drive by. They got to pick it up. I don't know. I don't know. I think they should give them out. I wouldn't buy a trash can. I would wait until it is mandated by the city. I
don't know what your point is, does it? People are going to pay $46 for a trash can, or they're not going to get their shit picked up, and so they're going to do it. That's the way it's going to work.
Well, you got the crystal brain, so I'll roll with that.
Yeah, that's how they're going to do it. But last time I was in New York, I saw a rat the size of a fox running down the street.
Really?
Yeah, like a
25-pound
I saw
rat.
Big ass rat. Now, there's the Willard-sized rats you're used to seeing in movies and stuff, and then there's big-ass New York rat. I mean, this thing was a massive rat just chugging down the street. We're looking at a picture of a 13-pound rat.
Yeah, that looks like one of those animals that lives on the Tabasco Island in New Orleans, whatever those are called.
Let me think. If there was only someone smart. Nutria!
There we go. Thank you.
Oh, man. Yeah. You know that story?
Yeah. Not offhand. What, somebody delivered one of them and then they just populated the island and took over or something?
Yeah. Well, delivering one of them doesn't
Or is it a key ingredient? Is it a key ingredient to Tabasco sauce?
Okay, here's the story. McNamara family, I believe, who did Tabasco and New Orleans, brought in a bunch of nutria, which are like giant rats from like South America, to harvest for fur. And then a storm blew in and knocked all the cages over, and they all got loose in, Louisiana, in the swamps of Louisiana, and now we have a huge nutria
That could be lore. I don't know. Is there video of it?
Well, there's a lot.
Lore,
I think they'll pay $1 a nutria if you want to go out shooting nutria.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a bounty. I don't know if there's still a nutria bounty, but they'll pay to kill nutria.
John Wesley Harding will just kill them if they snore.
They shot a nutria for snoring.
Yeah.
Let's do one more.
All right. Well, the Republic of California is imposing permanent water restrictions for the first time in history. The state's Water Resources Control Board, which I believe is bought and paid for, approved a long debated policy as making conservation a California way of life. We used to have water. We had dams. We can still build dams. We haven't built a dam in a long time. But they've gotten us so used to water restrictions that now they're just going to cut it down.
We have the LA River, but now it's just become a bathroom for homeless people. They literally just live in the bottom of the river. We got a ton of rain last season, as I recall, and
over 90% of it went into the ocean.
It all washes into the ocean with all the fecal matter from all the homeless people.
Of course.
It goes into the bay, and then they go, "Hey, the bay's too dirty to surf in, so don't go in there for a while." I don't know why we're not more consistent when it comes to this. Cisterns, capture the water, nice big shovel-ready jobs.
Didn't we have a desalination plant ready to go that our great governor just said, nah?
We had a desalination plan ready to go, and literally like 7 people from the Coastal Commission, probably mostly middle-aged yentas, who probably double maskers and double baggers, if you picture them.
Yes. They are in the same circle of the Venn diagram.
We had 7 dumb middle-aged bitches, the same ones who told you all about COVID and were wrong about everything. Had about 7 of those people from the Coastal Commission just go, "We're not doing the desalination plant, so move on."
Well,
that's how we run things, by the way. Like, we can't have nuclear power because most women are against nuclear power. So It's not popular. Most men are for nuclear power because we're pragmatic and we need clean energy. Most women are against it. And we don't get nuclear power plants because most women are against it. And it's basically, I interviewed a guy in here 10 years ago. I was like, why don't we have nuclear power? There's like he was some expert scientist. He's like, that's the cleanest, best way to make power. I was like, why not? Why don't we have one? Not popular.
Right.
Not popular with who? What, that dumb women? They invented a term called no nukes, and there's an N for both words. And then Jane Fonda said it. And so now here we are. So it's basically, I can't read the thing because of the thing. Oh, okay, so females are about half, it's about double the support for males than females, and then it's about double the oppose.
Double the support men over women for supporting nuclear power.
Yes.
Double opposition from women. That's
right. Yeah.
That's why we only need to mark the left side of something. But now here's the interesting thing. That third column, don't know or I have no opinion. The women, it disproves my point. I was reading it wrong.
All right, Dawson, got a quote in your head.
Surprisingly, more women don't have an opinion.
Well, listen, women don't want nuclear power. It's safe, it's reliable, and it's much cleaner than coal or any other alternative. But they don't want it, so we don't get it.
Right.
And a handful of yentas do not want the desalination plant, and so we don't have it. And that's the new world order.
And the Sierra Club wants clean oceans, but won't do a thing about getting homeless people to stop shitting down the sidewalks.
Right. All right. So we don't have
more
anything
beaches
we
in
don't
LA that are unswimmable.
Could you imagine if Gavin Newsom just said, look, instead of putting $150 billion into a bullet train that's not really a bullet train that goes from Bakersfield to Merced where nobody lives, instead of that, we're focusing on water and capturing water and taking power lines and burying them instead of having be out on brittle poles and we're working wildfires and we're working water. That's what we're going to do.